You know that song by, rather fitting actually, bearing in mind that we are doing a Disney episode, the one by Olaf, In Summer. And know when he melts at the end?
Yeah.
Very much how I'm feeling right now. It's a bit hot in it.
It's very hot. It's, to use a technical term, it's Betty Swallocks. Oh fuck, that sent apple cider all over my laptop. That's fine.
We're ready for summer, but it's a little bit too hot.
But at what cost? The Costa del Sol. Hello! An emphasis on the hell, because it's too hot. This is Moving Up, episode 107, with your hosts, me, Adam Barlow.
And me, Alfie Walker. I think this should be episode 666, because it feels like we are burning. The UK is truly sweltering. I'm sweating from places I didn't even know you could sweat from.
I feel you.
And these headphones are making it more hard work, let me tell you that.
Yeah, we've always spoken about starting a Patreon, but if you want to see us hot and sweaty, this is the episode,
This
my
is the
friend.
episode.
Rejoice.
You go on the link tree in the bio, you'll find the OnlyFans and the Patreon there.
It's mental.
I presume this episode there's going to be a lot of background noise due to us both having our windows wide open. I ain't closing them, so yeah, if you hear the neighbours shouting at each other, just ignore it. It's hot.
Yeah, it's got to be done. Other than the heat this week, Alfie, how have you been?
It's just kind of been the thing on everyone's mind, really. There hasn't been much else to think about, has there? Having to drag myself into work, but admittedly there is aircon, and you said yourself as well, you've been in an aircon building for work, so it could be worse. You could be like a scaffolder or something and doing it on a rooftop.
Yeah, or worse. Yesterday on the show we had, I can't remember his name, but he was a really lovely tree surgeon who doesn't take a day off. Like, he does it rain, shine, hailstorm, or this heat. And he said it was okay. I was in someone's garden cutting hedges. I'm like, that's no better.
Yeah,
if anything, what you're doing is cutting down your own shade. You're
your own enemy.
Yeah. You crossed the line.
I saw someone tweet saying, you need to feel for the poor person inside that Paddington on Broadway because they're going to be sweltering.
My God. Wow. They're probably dead. It's probably like Five Nights at Freddy's. It's
breaking
just the
news,
spirit.
Paddington Bear is dead.
Paddington Bear, though, is the harbinger of death, as we've established. So maybe it's not such a bad thing. It's worth bringing it up, by the way. Maybe the heat's made it slip your mind, but Gorillaz, you're wearing the T-shirt. How was that?
Yeah. This is the T-shirt I bought. It cost a very pretty penny. At the end of the concert, Damon Albarn, the main man in it all, came out. He was on the stage the whole time, but at the end he stood up and was like, it was a real nice time. It was excellent, and it was so multicultural and multi everything. And at the end he was like, "This band's not about money. This is a band for socialists." It's like, Damon, I just paid £85 for a T-shirt. Do you want to shut up?
Yeah.
No, it was excellent. It was, oh my God, that is a story to tell on the podcast. Show was excellent. They went for 2.5 hours, which is the longest they've done, because usually, I was looking at the set list, it's usually an hour 3/4. So we had an extra 45 minutes. We had extra songs. We had extra guests. It was amazing. It finished at 10:20, and our last train was at 11:45. Theoretically, you think that would be fine. We were in Tottenham Hotspur, which is a good, getting there, it took about 55 minutes, and that was with no concert traffic. Mate, we were running from Tottenham Stadium to the tube station. We were running in the middle of the road. We were getting caught in groups of people. It was impossible to move for us. And then we got on the first tube and we went, we've missed the train. We've got 10 minutes. It was 20 minutes. We're not going to make it. And then we got off the first tube, and It was like something from a film where we got off this train and the opposite tube was the one we had to get on, and it was pulling in as we got off this one. So we just darted across, jumped on it. We're on it, doors shut, it sped off, and then we were like, "Oh my god, we've got 6 minutes," and it like pulled up, and we had like 4 minutes to go. And we were running up the stairs, and we got to the top of the stairs at Waterloo. And it was like, 3 minutes. We pegged it down to the gate, burst through the gates, jumped on the train, and we made it with no time to spare. Otherwise, it would have been a £250 taxi back to Pompey. And we hadn't had a drink because we were in the concert, so we couldn't get a drink for the whole concert. We had a pint of Pepsi at 6 p.m. and then, we had to be on this train until it was about 1:30. So we didn't have any water, anything for near on, 7 hours. It was horrendous. It was hot. We'd been running. Nowhere like that experience ruins the concert for you.
Yeah.
But like in hindsight, now it was funny now, but that was like so close to ruining the concert because it was, God, what a stress. Next time I'm just getting a hotel, mate.
That is the thing with concerts, isn't it? When they're on stage, brilliant. But literally a second either side, it's a really horrible day.
Thing ever. You're stood in the crowd like with chafed legs because you've had to walk somewhere, or someone next to you stinks, or you need a piss and you've still got 2 hours to go. Like, oh my God. But then the concert, phenomenal. Well, we're going to London together this weekend, aren't we, for a little reunion birthday party thing for someone. So we'll see if we make it home on the last train this weekend. Maybe that'll be the story for next week.
Yeah, that's if the rails haven't completely melted away, which apparently is a real threat. Goodness me. It could go either way. Today, on the agenda, we're talking about Toy Story 5. I can't believe there's 5 of these, but then again, the first one came out 31 years ago. So it's been a while, but it made Pixar what it is. So I can understand why they keep returning to this franchise. And we'll get into it, but I would watch a 6th.
Yeah. After the 4th one, I'd say I wouldn't. I'd be like, why have they done 4? But I think this one, for the both of us, this one has made me go, actually, there's a bit of potential left in this this franchise. Yeah.
Yeah, very much so. Should we get straight into it before we disintegrate?
Yeah, absolutely. The 5th installment in the Toy Story, I guess, franchise now, isn't it? It's a mega sort of thing now. Adam, I guess, it's a bit silly to ask what's your opinion of the other ones, because they're like phenomenal, aren't they? It's like the first ever CG animated film, like fully computer. Obviously had like Steve Jobs was in charge of Pixar back then. We then had,
you're right.
1, 2 and 3 are like, it's up there with Lord of the Rings, isn't it? 1, 2 and 3 is like the best trilogies ever. 4 has its fans. Some people don't like it as much. People, I think it should have ended at 3. You're obviously a huge Toy Story fan, right?
Yeah. I think growing up, my hot take, if someone pushed me for a hot take, I don't have many, but I would have actually said I think Toy Story is a bit overrated. But then whenever I watch a Toy Story film, in the back of my mind, I'm like, don't kid yourself. These are great, And watching Toy Story 5, I just was having the best time, and I loved it. I really did love it. And we'll get into the details of it in a moment. But I then rewatched Toy Story at the start of this week after seeing the 5th one, and I was reminded of how brilliant it is. And I've been seeing on Twitter recently in the last couple of days how the version you watch on Disney Plus is hugely inferior to what the actual original film looked like. Like the lighting is so much duller. I don't know why they've compressed it or whatever they've done to it. I watched it. It's still fine, but it really looks like it's aged.
Yeah.
And then I watched clips and screenshots of it on Twitter, and I'm like, oh no, it's absolutely fine. And it's aged very well. So, having watched the inferior version of it that I did, I was blown away by how funny it was. I probably hadn't watched it in maybe about 6 years, but it's really funny. All the characters, the cast is just so well voice acted. They all click so well together. And it's just a really simple story, but it totally works.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more, and I'm with you with the way it looks on Disney Plus, because I did the same. I watched number one and was like, wow, like it looks, it's aged badly, but no, you're right. I saw the tweets as well, and it seems to be just the way it's scanned in or something. I saw, it's sort of blown it out, and that's why it looks so bad. Yeah, it's an iconic franchise, isn't it? I feel like if you told someone to name an animated film, I feel like, honestly, a lot of people probably would just say Toy Story. It's just a real sort of cultural icon, isn't it? Everything about it. The humor, it's probably the Pixar film with the most sort of verging on sort of adult humor or references that only adults get. So that I think that's why it's always good to go back and watch it, isn't it? When you're a parent, or if you're a parent as well. I can imagine watching it, you get all the laughs. It's great. The three are great. I'm not as a huge fan as four, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But yeah, Toy Story 5. I mean, I think when you said a moment ago, the best thing about one is that it's quite small scale. It's got a real nice message, and it's kind of low key. It's just a toy wanting to get back to its owner, which is great as the other ones are. They go so sort of out of proportion. Like number 2, they're running down a runway trying to get on a plane. Number 3, they're about to be combusted. Like it's so grandiose. But I think the 5 really took it back to that original film. It was so more low key. It had a really nice message. It didn't feel blown out or over the top. It just was a really good plot with the technology thing. It's a great angle that I'm surprised it took them so long to get to. But it just felt low key. It felt low stakes. It was about getting these toys together and Bonnie making a friend. I think it just encapsulated everything that is in that original film as well. I was a really big fan of it, mate. How about you?
Yeah, I feel exactly the same way. I wasn't expecting it to be such a spiritual sequel to Toy Story 2. Jessie is front and center, who's a character despite me saying I think Toy Story 2 is my favourite, I've only seen it once, which is a weird situation to be in, so I definitely need to go back and rewatch the other sequels. But I'd sort of forgotten how cool of a character Jessie is, and she is absolutely the heart and soul of this. And I think you really get behind her just as much as you would do with Buzz or Woody. I also thought Buzz was hilarious in this film, really great. He's always been excellent across across all 5 films, but they kind of repeat a few of the or certainly echo some of the similar plot points with Buzz clones, and that does happen here again. But for Buzz himself, I think he's got a really fun side plot in this that I think added to his character in a really nice way.
Yeah, for sure. I think, like you said there, they definitely echo the Toy Story 2 with the Buzz, there being so many of them, and then the him fancying Jessie thing, that's obviously brought back again. Yeah, it was a cool reveal. Like, I mean, we've said we're not going to spoil it, but the way the plot goes and the way it starts with these Buzz multiples, it's a really cool direction to take it in, and it feels realistic with the technology angle as well. What's your opinion on I guess it's a bit silly to say villain, isn't it? I guess we do have villains in Toy Story. I guess number 1 is kind of Sid, the kid next door. 2 is Stinky Pete. 3 is Lotso. 4 is like the marionette doll, isn't it? But she's kind of not a villain. And then it's kind of the same here. What was your opinion on Lilypad and the technology angle, I guess?
Lilypad herself, quite forgettable for me, but I don't think she needed to be. She was always kind of just representing an idea or a theme, which for me, it didn't faze me. I'm just glad that they went here. To be honest, they could have done this exact same film back in 2014, 2013. So it's kind of odd that they took this long. But you know what? I'm glad they did do it, because I think Toy Story will speak to kids. I think people will watch this and be like, or I hope to God they take on some of it. Parents, if no one else, because the amount of times you go to a pub or a theatre, the second there's a minute of silence, these kids are on their iPads. And I'm so glad that my parents were quite stubborn with when I got a phone. I didn't get a smartphone until I was in year 10, I think. I had a little tablet for a year before then, which kind of eased me into it. And we had a family iPad, and of course we had a computer. But I'm sort of glad that I wasn't on it as much as everyone else. I probably am now. I probably made up for it, don't get me wrong. But
ironically, yeah. Your job's quite tech-based.
Yeah, so. yeah. I can't really avoid it now. But I think it's really important that Toy Story made this statement, and it does it in a way that isn't. I thought it ran the risk of it being a bit cringy and maybe feeling a bit too little, too late, with people saying, "Oh, technology's bad." But actually, I didn't get that vibe at all. It didn't feel like it was made by boomers. It felt current, surprisingly so. And even though the villain herself, as I said, it doesn't make a massive mark, as great as Greta Lee is as an actress, I still really enjoyed it. I liked the other tech toys they had it in as well. Conan O'Brien, fantastic, so funny, one of the best characters in the franchise. I loved him.
Yeah, it was excellent. I think you're spot on with the lily pad just represents an idea, and like you said, it wasn't cringy. It just sort of encapsulated the tech discussion. And I mean, I was going to say first-hand experience, but I guess it's more of a second-hand experience. But today I went into work and the person sat next to me, Laura, she said, "Oh my God, how did you find Toy Story 5? Did you like it?" Because she went and saw it with her nephew on Saturday. And she said they literally got out the cinema and the kid, her nephew, was like sad. And she was like, "What's wrong?" He's like, "Well, I've just done what's on the film." And he was like, "I've got all those toys." He's got the Toy Story toys and they're all in the loft. And so they went home and got his Toy Story toys out of the loft and then sat on the floor playing it. I think it's like, if that is what this film is meant to do, and it's done it. It's literally like a first-hand experience for her. She's gone to the cinema. He's gone to the cinema. He's got out and gone, maybe I should embrace sort of classic play toys a bit more, which is a great angle. And no spoilers again, but they learn to obviously embrace the tech as well. I think everyone can obviously see that's gonna happen. And it's a great way to go, because there's no point denying it. Everyone relies on it now, but it's all about blending it. And I think they, as always, they just hit the mark on the head and have such a nice message to finish the story on. They've always makes you cry. This one did make me cry with the Jessie moments. And probably unpopular opinion, I don't really like Jessie in Toy Story 2. I think she's quite annoying. But I thought she was great in this. I thought it was just so, wholesome, and really, it couldn't have pushed the message any better, basically.
Yeah, I don't remember Jessie being this good. And I don't think she played a huge role in Toy Story 3 or 4 from what I remember, because that is one thing with these films, is they add in like 6 new toys every film. And in doing that, you're obviously going to get ones that just fade away into the background. And Jessie was, nearer to the central team than the others were, but certainly wasn't really in the limelight since 2. So it was just really good to see her back. It made sense for her to be the lead in this story. And again, without spoiling it, what they do in the final 20 minutes, I thought was brilliant. And you kind of see it coming a couple of minutes before, and you're like, "Oh, okay, what?" You kind of piece it together as it happens, and it's so resonant, and it really got me. I didn't cry because I think it doesn't dwell on it too long, which maybe would be good for kids, because it does sort of slow down when it tells that bit. But I could have done with it actually just wallowing in it a bit more.
Yeah.
And then it would have pushed me over. But I certainly had the old croaky throat and the odd tear in my eye. But I did want to blub, but it didn't quite happen.
I think Pixar can sometimes be quite emotionally manipulative. I think some of its films go far too hard. I think Inside Out, as great as it is, I think it's too much. I think it's so manipulative in its way to just actually just make you cry. And I think Up, that opening scene of Up verges on that as well. I think that's like, it's just pure design to just get you to cry, and it feels manipulative. But I think this is such a perfect balance between like a throwback to something in a previous film, a reveal that recovers that moment. Like in the previous film, that's such a horrible moment, and it goes, "Oh no, wait, this is such a nice moment now," and it doesn't hold on it very long, like you said. And I think it's probably the right move. It's a kids' film at the end of the day. I prefer it when they give a good message and don't try and pull on the heartstrings too much, because I feel sometimes they do. I think it's worth mentioning the animations. Like, it's beautiful. I know it isn't doing anything different, anything sort of special, but like that scene with the buzzes in like the jungle, you could see the foliage. It looked so real. It's kind of amazing. And then this is also clearly a sort of a sideway into a Disney Plus TV show where they do the play sequences with the cool animation that looks all hand drawn. Really cool moments, a great way to show the play of the toys that we haven't had before. I think it's so creative and really fun to sort of animate it that way in a different style.
Yeah, I'd absolutely watch a Disney Plus series of that. My goodness, some of the best scenes of the film were those play scenes with Bonnie or with, forgive me, the other girl in the film. What was her name?
Blaze,
yes, that's right. Excellent. I mean, Conan O'Brien, as I said, hilarious. But I would actually say the whole film really funny. I don't think there was a minute where I didn't laugh. All the jokes landed for me, which is a rarity. I think Pixar are very funny films, actually, widely speaking. But I think they've really had a 1-2 punch here. Elio was chucklesome. I think it had some good laugh out loud moments when it kind of led into some darker themes. But comparing Elio to Hoppers and to this, it's night and day. Hoppers was hilarious. I really wasn't expecting to like that film, and it blew me away. And same with this, like it could have been really, really tacky, but no, it completely won me over.
I guess controversially, my biggest hot take from the film is I think you kind of didn't need Woody in there, and he didn't do anything, and they definitely sort of sandwiched him in just to. It's his franchise, isn't it? So they have to, but he really was of no consequence to the plot at all. But the throwback to Buzz and Woody fighting from the first film was a nice sort of like Easter egg. I would say maybe the question is, we are getting a 6. I think they've confirmed that, haven't they? What do they do next?
Yeah, it's really difficult. I mean, this isn't a perfect film. I think you're right with Woody being a little bit shoehorned in. And I also think maybe it's a bit of a nitpick, but the whole Buzz side plot with the clones of Buzz is not Buzz Lightyear himself, but the more up-to-date models of him took a little too long for those plot threads to interlock, I think, for it to all to snap into place, which is not the same for Toy Story 1, 2, 3. But yeah, what they do for a 6th film, I really don't know. They've kind of already done the tech thing, at least for now. I don't think they can take that any further. Maybe just rest it until there's a new development in the toy world. I thought the only thing they've never touched on, they could have done this in 95, but they've never really looked at video games.
Yeah, that's true.
But then that's not really, again, they keep it in the physical world, not it's not Wreck-It Ralph, so I can't see them going in that direction, but it's just something, if they really wanted to pick something out of a hat, there's that, I guess.
I'm glad I'm not the team behind it, because I think they've potentially sort of, like you said, they've almost exhausted any avenues to go down now. You had just them trying to find their owner. You had that again in 2, kind of in 3, but you had the side plot of like them growing up and everything changing for them and being handed to a new owner. You've sort of spent 4 with 4 was a bit of a weird one to me. I feel like it doesn't fit almost. But you had that, and then this is obviously the tech. So I do wonder where they'll go with it. Like you said, it might be better off leaving it for 10 years and then going back with something in a while.
So we've said how big a fans we are of Toy Story and of the wider Pixar universe. We thought now is a perfect time, with Toy Story 5 potentially being the end of that franchise. Why not take a look back at all of Pixar's works and try and do a tier list? So bear with us. There's lots to go through, probably about 30, but we're going to go through, give you an overview of the bottom of our list, breeze through the middle section, and then break down our top 5, I think is the plan.
Definitely. This is a long time coming. I feel like we've touched on this before, floated the idea before, but we're finally here. It's the perfect episode to do it. Gonna, rank all of them. What is there? I think there is about 29, 30, isn't there? Take it away. Why don't you start with like your bottom 3 or something, Adam?
Okay, so my bottom 3, I think we might match exactly with this, but I could be wrong. I've got Lightyear, I've got Turning Red, and I've got The Good Dinosaur.
No, one different there, and I think you're going to be really upset when I tell you my bottom. I've got Lightyear and Turning Red, of course. Maybe mention them first. They're just a bit pants, mate, aren't they?
Yeah, Turning Red is not for us.
No,
It's all an allegory for periods, I think, but then it doesn't
think
really
so.
commit to that. And it's also, I
Yeah.
think there's some really dirty jokes in there, like about some really teen adult things that I really don't think sit well in a Pixar film. Don't get me wrong, they've already had dirty jokes. They've always done that, but it felt a bit icky here.
Yeah, I think you're right. We're not the audience for that one, which I think is fair enough, but it just doesn't do it for me. And then same with Lightyear. I think it's a good concept. I think they could have done this spin-off though in like 2001, whenever Toy Story 2 was, because that was sort of the whole plot of that, wasn't it? With the actual Buzz Lightyear stuff. I feel like it was just almost 15 years too late, kind of.
Yeah, it's just a bit of a mess, that film, isn't it? And they muck up the lore of him and who's the villain?
Zurg.
Zurg, that's it.
I've got Brave at the bottom.
Okay.
Yeah, just doesn't do it for me. Some of them just don't, but I do get the way you've got a good dinosaur. Because if I then go on a little bit further, right, I've got The Good Dinosaur. I've got Incredibles 2. I'm not a huge fan of that. I've got Elemental. I've got Onward. And this one might upset you. I've got Finding Dory.
No, what? My sort of penultimate list, I've got A Bug's Life, which although I've seen loads of times,
no,
I know. I think I've just completely. I need to rewatch it. I know I've probably seen this film the most out of all the Pixar films, but not for like at least 10 years, maybe 15 years.
I cannot believe that.
I cannot remember it in my defense. But there's something about when I look at the poster, because I always watched it in the car, as I've mentioned in the podcast before, I think when I look at the poster, when I look at the characters, I kind of automatically feel a bit car sick. And I think I've forever sort of just ruined that film for myself.
Absolutely.
I've also got Brave near the bottom. I know some really big fans of Brave, but again, not for me. I've got Elio near the bottom. Now, although I gave Elio a good review at the time, see last year's podcast episode, whatever number that was, I haven't thought about it at all since. I don't remember very much of it. I remember a lot of the humour being quite childish on reflection. It just feels a little bit random. I don't think the plot, it's a little bit meandering. I'm not quite sure it knows what it's doing. The tier above that, I've got Onwards. Liked it at the time. Again, I haven't really thought about it since. Incredibles 2 also kicking around there because it is such a downstep from the first one. And I've got Toy Story 4, although I think the animation, impeccable. I really like Forky. And Key and Peele are funny in it as well. I just think, as you said earlier, it feels like such a weird...
Such a diversion.
Stepping stone.
Yeah, like Black Sheep of the saga almost, isn't it?
Yeah.
Like,
not a bad film at all. I'd say a strong film, but within the franchise doesn't sit well at all.
Yeah, absolutely. So then, working our way up a little bit, I have got... I think it's worth saying I haven't seen Hoppers, and Hoppers is Pixar, right? Yeah, so I haven't seen Hoppers, and I haven't seen Elio either. They're the only two I haven't seen, so they're sort of sitting out on my list. But yeah, working our way up, I've got Toy Story 4. I've then got Cars 3. I think it's definitely the least of those. I don't know if I mentioned I've got Luca about there. I've then got Soul and Coco. Sort of in that sort of middle tier as well. What about you?
That's really interesting. Yeah, we're starting to differ now. I've got this goes against everything I've ever said to you, but in my B list, I've got all 3 Cars films. As much I know as much as I love Cars, okay, but when I'm looking at,
I get it. I do get
no,
it.
hang on, I'm second guessing it now. Because I've got Monsters University in the tier above. I don't think I agree with that. Drop Monsters Uni down to the tier below, actually. I think quality-wise, Cars 1 and 3 are pretty much on par for me. Cars 1, classic, love it, so quotable. Cars 3, I think, is stunningly beautiful. It's quite dark. I rewatched that one recently and just had a really good time with it. Cars 2, again, one I overwatched as a kid. I bloody love that film. It's so bad, but I love it. Like, in another world, on another day, I'd put that S tier and I'd defend it to my dying day.
Yes.
But I think having just seen Toy Story 5, it's brought into focus what a good film is.
Yeah, absolutely.
And Cars 2, I'm afraid, is not quite that.
Yeah, there's something about Cars 2 though, isn't there? Which is odd because nostalgia-wise, that makes sense for you because you're a bit younger. But for me, it doesn't really. I'm a little bit older, so it shouldn't necessarily be nostalgia for me. I don't know if maybe I've got nostalgia because Lenny watched it so much. Like Lenny watched it non-stop, like constantly. So I think maybe that's why I've got such a soft spot for it. So yeah.
British intelligence.
British intelligence. Tomato. Average intelligence.
Holly Shiftwell, one of my first crushes, by the way. Oh my goodness. The curves on her.
Both forgetting about Sally in the first film. What the freak, bro?
I didn't like her voice.
She's a little vanilla, isn't she? Yeah.
Yeah, bit of a pick-me.
To
be, and Holly Shiftwell isn't.
Yeah, right? Secret agent car, like, okay.
Elemental, sorry, I've also got there. I loved it at the time, and I've watched it a couple of times since. Always a really pleasant watch, and I like it probably more than most people. But again, apart from the final act, which is manipulative, I think it falls into that category where it's like, oh, you're just trying to make me cry. And it does. Yeah. It succeeds every time. I think it's a really romantic film. But again, a little bit cheap compared to Pixar's other offerings.
Yeah, definitely. This is now below my top tier. This is like pushing on greatness. We've got Coco. I've got Monsters University. I've got Inside Out 2. I've got Finding Nemo. I've got WALL-E. I've got the original Toy Story. I've also got Up and Cars 1, Toy Story 2, Inside Out 1, sorry, Cars 2, and then, yeah, I'll leave my final five for in a minute. Okay. What are your sort of runners-up?
There's a lot there. Yeah, runners-up, I've got some big hitters. You're going to slate me for this, but Toy Story, Monsters, Inc., Up, Toy Story 3, Monsters University, Inside Out, Finding Dory, I love that film, Coco, Hoppers, and Toy Story 5.
This is really...
these are all like 8s out of 10.
Yeah, sorry, I missed Toy Story 5 out. Mine would also be in that sort of rung, yeah, sort of. I'd give it 4 out of 5. I think our top's going to differ a fair bit, mate.
Let's see.
That's quite fun. So I'll go for my number 5 spot. It is A Bug's Life.
Wow, that's so high. Do I need to rewatch it?
I think so. I rewatched it recently, first time in maybe like 8 years.
Wow, okay.
The jokes with the circus bugs are great. They're like the adult jokes in that film. Really good. And I know it's unpopular to say, but Kevin Spacey is Hopper in that, and he is like so menacing. It makes sense that he's evil in real life as well, really. But he's so evil in that film. It's so great. I just love I really love the they've all got a story behind them, haven't they? All of these films. Soul about death, Toy Story, they've all got such a good sort of moral behind them. But yeah, Bug's Life, I love the moral about like the ants standing up to the big guy. I just think it's so cool, and we're always told about stuff like that. It's top 5 for me for sure. It's in my number 5 spot. What about you?
So I've got 3 sitting just outside of it. I've got Soul, which is a film I think I've spoken about before. A film I watched about halfway through, found it pleasant, and then turned it off. I was like, I'll finish this another day. Came back to it about a week later. I think I was in first year of uni whenever it came out, 2021, 2022. Watched it. It was maybe Boxing Day. Thought I'd sort of watch 10 minutes overlap, got myself back into the story. And I've never watched a film and cut it off just before it gets fantastic, like I've watched Soul, because there's an epiphany moment in that film, and it kind of really hits it. Like, it properly is about life, death, and the world. It's almost too much. I think that's what people don't like about it. But I think it gets a bit hung up on the body swap cat and the jazz stuff. I don't care so much for that. But the jazz score itself, brilliant, and the whole ending is magnificent. I've got Toy Story 2 and I've got Ratatouille as well kicking around.
Oh, okay.
In my number 5 slot, this might be my hottest take. I've got Luca. I'm almost not quite sure what it is about Luca that I love so much, because it's not especially. It is sad at the end, and it does make me tear up. But I absolutely adore the soundtrack. I think the character designs are so playful. It came out in lockdown, right? And the colors palette of this film is just stunning. I think it's one of Pixar's prettiest films, and I can watch that any time of the year, and it transports me to Italy, a country I've never been to.
It's the Mediterranean feel of it, for sure.
I absolutely adore that film. I think there's such wonderment in it, and it really has a place in my heart. I bloody love that film.
My number 4 spot then goes to The Incredibles. Yeah, just it's like the MCU and James Bond like mixed together. It's got such a soundtrack on that film. Is like genuinely one of the best film soundtracks ever. The music is phenomenal. The characters are memorable. I can't believe we've only ever gotten 2 of them, and the second one is such a downgrade, because it is the one Pixar film that I think has the legs to have like 20 films. It's just superheroes. Do you know what I mean? It's superheroes crossed with a bit of James Bond. It should have 6 films by now, and they should all be great. Unfortunately, yeah, number 2 isn't for both of us really, but that first film just does everything right. It's so good.
Yeah. I've got I'll say, yeah, I've got The Incredibles there as well. I'm switching them around on the fly, but you'll never know. Yeah, The Incredibles feels right to sit at number 4, I think, on a Pixar tier list. I don't know if it's got. I quite like a good cry in my Pixar films, and The Incredibles has never made me cry.
Yeah, it doesn't have a cry moment.
It's brilliant fun. It is probably the best, one of the best animation films of all time. In the playground, it'd be your go-to, like, let's play The Incredibles. I want to be Dash or Mr. Incredible. You know, I love that movie. I can't really say a bad word about it.
Yeah, it's a 5 out of 5, isn't it? For animated film, it really is. Like, I just cannot think of a single thing wrong with it. It's so good. Number 3 for me is Toy Story 3.
Okay.
Yeah, I have such a spot for this. It is by far the most emotionally manipulative Pixar film out there. It is, I think it's horrible in what it does at the end, with them literally going to be burned in a dumpster. It's horrendous. Like that is like sob worthy. I remember crying, like, and I don't know when Toy Story 3 was, but I would have been, let's have a quick look. When, sorry,
2010.
Okay, I would have been 11. Okay, I was younger than 4. But yeah, I remember crying. And the ending with Andy giving the toys over, like the passing of the baton is so fitting for a film called Toy Story. As much as 5 is great and 4 is a great film, it should have ended at 3. It would have been truly like a great trilogy, like so good. Yeah, it's so emotionally manipulative. I love it. I think it's excellent. It is the perfect plot for it. Talking about growing up, because realistically, the people watching it have grown up with Toy Story. Even like my dad would have been probably 85, 90. Yeah, my dad would have been like 17 when the first Toy Story come out. So then he's growing up with it, and then going to the cinema with me to watch Toy Story 3, and the passing of the baton moment. It's so perfect. It's a great film.
Yeah. My number 3. I've got Inside Out 2. I agree with you that Inside Out. Yeah, I agree with you that Inside Out is quite manipulative. I mean, it's literally emotions. But I remember watching Inside Out 2. I saw it 2 or 3 times in the cinema, and it blew me away. I think the dynamic between the characters is better. The final act of that, I think, is one of the best. It really made me sob. I was absolutely broken watching that. And it's kind of such a home run. Like, of course, having anxiety take over your brain, and then your other emotions be like, it's okay. Like, that's going to make anyone feel a bit wavy. But oh my goodness, it really, love it.
If you're an emotional person yourself as well, which I think both of us are quite in touch with our emotions compared to some other lads, it's so easy to make you cry. Especially it's another one along with Incredibles actually that is probably the perfect film to do multiple of, because you just follow their journey through life. Like she's now a teenager, so then you do becoming adulthood, and then you do having a kid. You could segment it and do a great sort of set of 5 films. And it introduces new emotions, which is such a great concept, and the visualization of them as well is so spot on. Pixar always hit the nail on the head, don't they? But the way they're designed and the way they act and the way they're voiced, it couldn't be any better to represent each emotion. It's such a cool concept. It's quite
It's a funny
simple
film as well.
concept, but it is funny. Yeah, you're right. It is hilarious. Good choice, mate. 2 is good. I remember you loving it as well when I think we reviewed it and you watched it. I remember you bigging it up so much. My number 2 is Ratatouille.
Yeah,
it is
fair.
probably my most quoted. No, it's not my most quoted, but me and Lenny quote it a lot. There's plenty of great jokes in it, adult jokes. I think it's a bit of a weird one. I think it almost doesn't feel like Pixar. I think it could just be a Disney film.
Yeah, you're right.
It's not particularly emotional either. It's just a flawless film, mate. These animated films, Pixar are on top of their game, aren't they? Like it's crazy. Yeah, Ratatouille is absolutely my favorite. I could put that on any day of the week and sit there and just watch the whole thing. Did you see the clip of Josh O'Connor on the Disclosure Day press tour getting really annoyed at the journalists? And they're like, Disney says we're not doing a live action Ratatouille. Sorry, Josh O'Connor. And he starts coughing in the interview. It's so good.
Yeah, brilliant. My number 2, and maybe I've rated this a little highly. I don't know, because we have already discussed some really great films. Probably due a rewatch, but I watched it about 4 or 5 years ago, so I think it's fresh enough in my mind that I rated it appropriately. I've got Finding Nemo.
Wow.
It's a film I think that is as old as me. And I think it's just one I watched a lot as a kid growing up as well. I really like the dynamic between Marlin and Dory there. I think when I think of Pixar, it's up there with the big hitters. You've got Monsters, Inc., Finding Nemo, Up, Toy Story. Like there's sort of a Mount Rushmore, and I think Finding Nemo for me would be in it. Yeah, I think there's some moments in there that maybe are a bit side questy and not hugely relevant to the plot, but I just remember it being such a great adventure. There's heart in it. It makes you cry at the start and at the end. Dory is hilarious. I've always been a fan of Ellen DeGeneres. It's a shame that she turned out to be a bit of a wanker. But it hasn't affected my love for Finding Nemo or the character of Dory, so hence why Finding Dory was still up so high. Yeah, I just really like it. I think it's an absolute classic.
Our number 1 Pixar films, here we go. My number 1 pick is Monsters, Inc.
Nice.
It is the first film I ever saw at the cinema. So I'm holding my hands up, and this is definitely nostalgia reason why. But yeah, first film I ever saw, I think it was 3. I would have been 3, I think. Maybe even a tiny bit younger. I feel like I remember it. I don't know if I actually do. That might just be that whole thing where you make it up in your head, but I feel like I remember it. I've still got the ticket stub, tiny little green ticket stub, like the ones you get out the machines at the arcade. It's one like that. It's got Monsters, Inc. written on it. Wow, this is my most quoted film with my brother. It is. I could recite it. It's one film where I could every single word, beginning to end. It is, yeah. No words for it. It's so good. It is hilarious. It is amazing as an adult as well. There's so many jokes in it. The soundtrack is great. The opening music is the most iconic thing ever.
Yeah.
Billy Crystal as Mike Wazowski is just phenomenal. Everything about it, mate. It's such a good film. It would be on my top probably my top 5 films ever. Just absolutely adore everything about it. I think the animation is great as well for like how old it is. For lots of people prefer Monsters University, which is a crazy thing to say, I think, but I think it's just such a flawless film. I can't work out what your number 1 is, mate, so go for it.
You forgot. My number 1, almost for the exact same reasons. Not a film I quote a lot, because it's a film I've sort of protected as I've grown up, and I've only seen maybe 4 times, quite honestly. But I've got WALL-E at number 1 because similar to you, it was one of the first films. I don't know if it's the first film I saw in the cinema ever, but it's certainly my earliest memory of a cinema. I remember crying my eyes out when you think Wally's dead. And again, this might be a situation where I might be misremembering it, but I'm sure I cried and started to leave the cinema, and my dad had to like come and get me and bring me back. And then it revealed that he wasn't dead. And I remember leaving. I was maybe a similar age, 4 or 5, and I remember like growing up for a few years and not watching it, being adamant that Wally died when he doesn't. And when I then rewatched it again years later, I was like, oh wait, he's fine.
He doesn't die.
But it really kind of traumatized me. And I love that film. I think it's so ahead of its time with its message about the environment, about tech, it's a love story at its core, and it's really funny, and it's so artsy for a
it's beautiful
Pixar film. It's basically silent for the first 20 minutes. It's stunning when they're going through the space. I mean, soundtrack again, just mesmerizing. And Wally, I think, is one of the best animated characters of all time. I think he's so adorable. I'm absolutely gutted to this day that I didn't get that Lego Wally set. I would kill for that. I know they've done a new one.
There's a new one, yeah. And
it's in stock at Sainsbury's. Wow. I might buy it tomorrow. I've been looking at it. I'm like, I need to save money. But now, chatting about it now, I'm going to do it. It's a flawless film, I think. Yeah. I want to rewatch it. I think it's stunning.
I think it's just proves, doesn't it, that we are chopping and changing these as well. I mean, like we said, there's very few that I wouldn't rewatch. Like, they're just so good. They're on top of their game. It's the best animation studio, isn't it? I think, in my opinion. I imagine in yours too. It's on a next level with its storytelling. I just don't think you get the amount of heart and the amount of well-written sort of story and through lines and the whole meaning behind the film. I just don't think you get it in any others. I don't think, as much as DreamWorks is great in what it does, and you've got plenty of other studios, I think you just don't get a mainstream animated film like you do a Pixar. Like, adults will watch it, children watch it, they're for everyone. It's just, there's some next level films, mate.
Yeah. And again, as we said, we were almost like changing your idea as we were saying it out, or I was anyway. I think if you did this ranking tomorrow or in an hour's time, I'd probably give you a fairly different list, because they're so... It really is splitting hairs with those top, like, 18, you know.
It's so on your emotion as well, isn't it? If you're having a bad day, I'd have a different one in my top 3 for sure.
Yeah.
Like,
but I do think that Wally, for me, if push comes to shove, it would always be in my top 3 somewhere.
Yeah, like Monsters Inc. for me. Just what films, mate? I want to go watch one now.
Yeah, me too.
Thank you for listening to the podcast. This has been episode 107, a very sweaty episode 107. Hope you enjoyed the review. I guess we don't do big question anymore because we have millions of segments that we always forget about, but it might be worth reaching out and asking you to tell us what your top 3 Pixar films are. That would be a really good way to sort of gauge how different people's opinions are, I think. Yeah, please get in touch. It's hello@movieonup.com. Like I said, please get in touch and tell us what your top 3 Pixar films are. Adam?
Yeah, you can also get in touch via our Instagram and TikTok. Alfie's done an excellent job recently at putting some social videos up. Every now and then we'll go through a spell of being like, that's funny, get it out there. And you know what? They've been doing really well. So thank you. If this is your first time listening, welcome. It's great to have you here. Let us know what your top 3 Pixar films are. You can go to our Instagram, TikTok. Handles for both those platforms are @MovieOnUp.
Thanks for today, Adam. It's been hot and fun.
Oh, yeah.
Like a good Saturday night.
Review. Yeah, it's a review I so often get.
Just a good time to end with cheers MILFs again.
Yeah, I think so, yeah. Cheers MILFs. Sorry, as a final thing, on today's radio show, we had a package that a reporter went out to do, speaking to mums and their children who live in flats in Portsmouth. You know, nice package, really relevant to the heatwave we're suffering in at the moment. And they uploaded it to the system as hot mums _ MP3.
Excellent.
Yeah. It was later changed to Heat Mums, but when we put it in the running order, we changed it back.
Good.
Doing God's work there.